Like I've been saying night after night, a brand new far-left radicalism is now gripping the Socialist Democratic Party in this country. They want to abolish ICE, open borders, baseless smear jobs. The new left committed to destroying the president and his agenda, and in the process, that would mean your prosperity at all costs. That is not one of their priorities. Joining us now to talk about this and much more, I call him the Great One, the host of the #1 show Sunday nights, 10 Eastern here on Fox, Life, Liberty, and Levin. The Great One, thank me. Listen, we got a lot going on in this country. We got to rush to judgment. Look at BuzzFeed. We've got a push. Nancy Pelosi can't even sit down. She's so pulled to the left by her party. The president is given on DACA, on Dreamers, everything they said they wanted. They still won't sit down with him. Then you've got a lot of Democrats, and we'll see more during the presidential campaign, wanting 70% taxes and confiscation and redistribution of wealth. What do you make of it all?
Well, what a mess. Let me start with the media. Poll after poll, survey after survey shows that the media are liberal and Democrat. And they don't disappoint liberals and Democrats. We have a packed media with a groupthink mentality. And I wrote this down before I came here. There are no uniform binding standards among news outlets. No clear line between news and opinion. This is an opinion show. I give an opinion, you give an opinion. That's clear. But news is different, isn't it? No universal rules of professional conduct for journalists that apply to lawyers and doctors and electricians and plumbers and so forth. Nothing. No particular experience required. Chuck Todd, Chris Cuomo, Stephanopoulos, their experience are as Democrat hacks. No commitment to objectivity, and that's the bottom line. No commitment to truth-telling. The result is old-fashioned yellow journalism. Scandalous, sensational, intellectually corrupt. So what we have now is the fourth estate has become the fifth column. Mass media in this country, they were committed to Hillary Clinton's election. Now they're committed to ousting Donald Trump. Every single day. They're sloppy. They misreport. They don't care. They figure they'll throw out an apology if they must. They try to destroy the president, his family, anybody associated with him, his staff, Kavanaugh, anything. They have never treated liberal Democrats this way. I'll give you a perfect example. We want 10 years of Donald Trump's income taxes. Well, I want 10 years of the Pelosi's income taxes. They're multimillionaires. She's the Speaker of the House. No legislation or appropriation gets through without her. How come the media don't call for 10 years of hers? And how about Dianne Feinstein, all the investments that she and her husband have made in Red China? We don't have a China special counsel investigation to talk about collusion. And the media promote the progressive agenda, climate change, open borders, big government. And, of course, every millennial is supposed to be Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I don't know any millennial that's a Marxist like she is. I know millennials who volunteered to serve in the military, who are police officers, who are firefighters, who are doing great things for this country. Every millennial is not a radical nut job going through the socialist talking points. Now, we got to get rid of these billionaires. I'm happy, Soros, Stars, and so forth, but let's talk the truth. It's the American dream, not the Soviet dream. John Rockefeller, we're supposed to hate him. Thanks to him, we have energy, natural gas, and oil. He became a multi-billionaire. So what? John Walton, we have Walmart, where people can get things at a decent price, and they employ tens of thousands of average Americans. Great. The family's worth billions. So what? Weyerhaeuser. You like toilet paper? You like writing paper? You can thank Weyerhaeuser. Bill Gates, lefty, Microsoft, revolutionized computers. Andrew Carnegie made the production of steel possible that we use today. Jeff Bezos, I'm no fan of this guy, but changed completely how we buy. Andrew Mellon financed the ability for us to have electricity in every home. Henry Ford, I can go on and on. Now, multi-billionaires. What has Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez created? Any job? Part-time job? How about Bernie Sanders? What have they created? So where's all this money going to go? 70% tax bracket. Who's going to decide who gets what? The Department of Agriculture? The Department of Energy? The EPA? These people waste $125 billion a year, according to the GAO. Americans do not like big, authoritarian, centralized government and 2 million bureaucrats pushing them around. So why do we confer health care upon them? And what does she know exactly? Nothing. Go to the supermarket. There's capitalism. 20 different types of bread. 30 different types of wine from all over the world. 5 different types of fish. I can't even tell what fish. Go to the supermarket. Look at all the different things you get. We live better than kings and queens lived 150 and 200 years ago. Look at all the things around you. That's created by capitalism. Capitalism and freedom, individualism, the American people. They're about government, power, edicts, fiats. That's what she's all about. And Ms. Ocasio-Cortez, please come on my Fox show on Sunday. I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you about capitalism versus Marxism and socialism. I want to talk to you about some of your ideas. I know you go to these slobbering interviews and so forth. I promise to be respectful, have enough guts and enough intelligence, because my theory, Sean Hannity, is this. She is a media creation. That's all she is. And let some conservatives who will treat her with respect interview her. I would request an interview.
Great one. You better get it in the next 12 years, because she said the world is going to end. I wish you a lot of luck in that endeavor, and I'd love to see that interview. I think that was one of your finest monologues you've ever given on this show about what is the greatest economic system that has created more freedom, more opportunity, more wealth than anyone ever imagined. And we can compare it to those countries that have chosen the path some radicals now want to take us down. Great one. We'll watch Sunday night, 10 p.m., Life, Liberty, Levin. You don't want to miss it.
For more on all this, let's bring in Tom Homan, former acting ICE director. Tom, thank you for being here this morning. So the Senate panel has released the text of this bill to reopen the government back to work in Washington today. Does it make it through the Senate?
I hope so. I mean, I looked at it. I reviewed it last night. Look, the president has come to the table. He's negotiating fairly. I mean, he's put $800 million for humanitarian relief on the border, something the Democrats wanted, $800 million for technology, less intrusive technology at the POE, something the Democrats wanted. To restart the Central American Miners Program, they can claim asylum in their homeland, something the Democrats wanted. And on top of all that, he threw DPS and DOC on top of it. This president is negotiating. It's the Democrats who haven't given 1 inch on negotiation.
So we're left wondering what's going to happen there. We heard from Chuck Schumer, Thomas, reiterating that Democrats are unwilling to negotiate any border security funding until the president reopens the government. So, and I know you're already trying to jump in because it's a frustrating situation.
It's frustrating. I just watched that soundbite where he said he's aghast at the president. I'm aghast that he voted for border barriers several times in the past. But he doesn't vote for one now because he does not want to give President Trump a win. He's putting his political hatred of this president over his responsibility to protect this nation. So, and you don't need the government reopened to negotiate. The people at the negotiating table, they're getting paid and they're working. He's getting paid. Nancy Pelosi's getting paid. There's nothing to prevent them from sitting down on the table and negotiating and get these men and women back to work.
Congressman Pete King from New York joined us earlier on the program, and here's what he wants to see happen with that Senate bill.
I guess what I would hope for right now is that Mitch McConnell can move this in the Senate, at least start a debate, try to bring Democrats over, ideally pass it in the Senate, then have it sent to the House. Nancy Pelosi will, I'm sure, pass a different bill, but at least then a real set of negotiations can begin. And basically, everything Democrats have asked for in the past is being given at least somewhat.
Sounds somewhat optimistic, but the American people are looking on, and they want the government to work something out here. Tom,
I think we need, look, the president's put something on the table. I think it's a good negotiation. I don't agree with all of it, but I think he's come to the table in a meaningful way. He's listening to both sides. At the same time, the Democrats are proposing bills. I reviewed one this morning. They want to cut ICE detention beds in half, which will double the amount of catch and release, which shows, again, the Democrats are not serious about border security. They want open borders, and their bills that they're proposing right now support that ideology.
Tom Homan, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
A lot of the negativity and the hate surrounding this event comes from people on social media doxing people that were at the event. I myself wasn't even present, but I'm very vocal about defending my school and my peers, and I have been doxed on 3 separate occasions. This has led to a tsunami of hateful messages and threats and everything above.
Covington Catholic High School students taken to YouTube describing the hate that they have received following that viral video of a confrontation between their classmates and a Native American elder in Washington. Former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee joins us now. And I'm sure you've got some strong reaction to all of this, Governor, as those children now, they're not even at school today. The school said for safety concerns, they couldn't even open their doors this morning.
Yeah, what a tragedy, and a couple of messages that come out of all of this. Number one, the media shows their reprehensible irresponsibility in rushing to get these videos on the air that showed a one-sided story that later proved to be completely untrue. And they have culpability here, and especially the commentators, some of them who went on and just trashed these kids who are high school kids. Turned out they didn't do anything like what they were being accused of, but forever and ever, their reputations are going to be indeed stained by something that didn't even happen. So that's the first message. And the second one is, I think it's time for some really smart lawyers to go represent these kids and, to be honest with you, sue the ever-living daylights out of some of these celebrities who have released private information on the internet about them, people like the so-called comedian Patton Oswalt. That's so reckless to do that and put these kids at risk. These are not public figures. It's one thing for public figures to have all kinds of things said about them. You know, if you're a public figure, you kind of expect it. These are high school kids, and they don't deserve this. And this could affect their future, their lives, not just getting into college, but getting jobs. They've got to do something about it, and the only way to stop this nonsense is for people to pay a price, and the price ought to be paid in the courtroom, and it ought to be a seven-figure judgment against some of these people who ran their mouths without engaging their brain.